Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, you guys, I've been so excited to make this video. We're going to be talking lies, contradictions, exaggerations. And you better believe I have the receipts. So I'll be showing you how they're contradicting themselves and straight up lying to us. I'll show you how their sentences change, how they change the meanings of things, and just all of it. I have the feeling we're going to need some synonyms for lie for this episode, so here we go. Deceit, deception, dishonest, disinformation, distortion. You can read the list, but you get the idea. We're going to be calling them out. You guys, there are so many between the two of them that we can't even scratch the surface in this one. So I'm excited to dive into some of them. And there's so many more to come, so look for these. And let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have a specific lie that you want discussed, let me know that too. I do want to put in a plug for my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us over there. We're having so much fun deep diving these two. Watching old interviews and picking them apart. Really a lot of fun. Check that out if you're interested. Huge thank you to my executive producers. Again, you can find that on Patreon. I will be shouting out your names at the end of this video, but thank you so much, everybody who supports the channel. Okay, let's get into this. So yeah, lies, contradictions, and exaggerations. I've been wanting to do this video forever. There's just so many of them. It's actually hard to make this list. Again, it's daunting, but we're going to do this. We're going to dive right in. It's going to be in no particular order because, again, the sheer number of them, they're going to range from insignificant small things where details were changed to huge, provable lies that these two have told. So without further ado, here we go. The first one that just sticks in my mind is how often they change the story of how they met, which, as you'll see, also ties into her story that she never Googled Harry or his family.
Yes, it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date,
and
for sure.
Meghan and I met over Instagram. I was scrolling through my feed.
Oh gosh, just that whole thing. It started was like
With
dog ears.
dog ears. And
That's what he saw of me. Who is it? And she said, it's Prince Has. And I said, who's that? I asked if I could see his feed. So that's the thing. When people say, did you Google him? No. But that's your homework. You're like, look, let me see what they're about in their feed.
I'd never looked up my husband online. I just didn't feel a need to because everything that I needed to know he was sharing with me, right?
So this always bothered me too. They claim to have met on a blind date, but now it's changed more recently to Instagram. In 2017, Harry told the BBC it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date. It was a blind date for sure. This is a direct quote. But again, in the first episode of the Netflix series, Harry claimed, Meghan and I met over Instagram. Since we're here talking about it anyway, what about the ludicrous claims that she never Googled Prince Harry and didn't know anything about the royal family?
Exactly.
Meghan Markle, Daisy, the wife of Prince Harry, she's been found out again, not quite telling the truth, to put it mildly. She's often claimed that she never knew much about the royal family at all before meeting Harry.
Didn't know a lot about him. Everything that I've learned about him, I learned through him, as opposed to having grown up around different news stories or tabloids or whatever else. Anything I learned about him and his family was what he would share with me.
But Daisy, an old blog post by Meghan Markle has now been uncovered, which paints a very different picture. Tell us about it.
Oh, yes, dear Meghan, caught short again, I'm afraid. You know, as she's mentioned, she's been saying for ages she didn't know much about the royals. She never researched Harry. That's complete rubbish. There's a photo of her outside Buckingham Palace when she was 15. Her childhood friend said she was obsessed with the royals. Her former best friend said she had one of Princess Diana's books on her shelves. You read Tom Bower's book about how she meticulously researched Harry. She knew about the royals. And in more evidence, a blog post has resurfaced from 2014 that discusses the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton. And she claims in the post that little girls dream of being princesses and that she, for one, was all about Princess Shira, who's like a rebel princess, like a feminist princess, go figure. And then we see she's actually got quite strong opinions, Andrew, about the monarchy, where she says, grown women seem to retain this childhood fantasy. Just look at the pomp and circumstance surrounding the royal wedding and endless conversation about Princess Kate. that little sort of negative comment, I think, is quite revealing, Andrew, that she was going into the family not
Very
knowing
much.
nothing. That is for sure.
Okay, let's get into those conversations about skin color. Oof. All right, so if you go back and watch the Oprah interview, something interesting happened, especially watching it now, hindsight 2020. So much going on, but at the time, Meghan says, and I'll play the clip, that there were questions about how dark Archie's skin would be and implied that it continued throughout her pregnancy. But the same interview, when Harry was asked, he implied that it was one conversation that actually happened when they were still dating. So stories not matching up. And to take it a step further, Tom Bauer brings it up in his book Revenge, and he says that he actually said it wasn't so much to do with skin, more, I wonder what color hair Archie will have. Will it be red like his father's?
Months when I was pregnant, all around this same time. So we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
And
Who is having that conversation with you? What?
so,
There is a conversation. Hold up.
there's
Stop
several
right now.
there's several conversations.
There's a
about it.
conversation with you
with Harry.
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Okay, you heard it there. She said throughout the pregnancy, this happened several times. Conversations about how dark her baby would be, knowing that it would set Oprah off and be very clickbaity, etc. Revenge, right? Listen to how Harry describes it. Completely different. One time at the beginning of the relationship, before they were even engaged. This is the exact same interview.
What is particularly striking is what Meghan shared with us earlier, is that no one wants to admit that there's anything about race or that race has played a role in the trolling and the vitriol. And yet, Meghan shared with us that there was a conversation with you about Archie's skin tone. Mm-hmm. What was that conversation?
That conversation I'm never going to share. But at the time it was awkward. I was a bit shocked.
Can you tell us what the question was?
No, I'm not comfortable sharing that.
Okay.
But that was right at the beginning, right?
Like, what will the baby look like?
Yeah, what will the kids look like?
Yeah, what will the kids look like?
But that was right at the beginning.
Since we're here talking about it anyway, we just came on the heels. We just saw where Meghan was saying that there were many conversations throughout her pregnancy about the baby's skin color and talks of he won't receive a title and referring it back to skin color, that sort of thing. Let's call a spade a spade. She's calling them out for racism. She's saying they're a racist family and they were denying, future baby Archie these things because of what shade of color his skin might be. But then turns around when they get the backlash saying, no, this isn't true. You're calling them racist. You're spreading these lies. Then Harry goes on in an interview and says this.
In the Oprah interview, you accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't.
Well, of...
The British press said that.
Right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they're racist?
She said there were troubling comments about
Yeah,
Archie's
there was
skin
concern
color.
about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't.
Since we're on the subject of Archie, let's keep going there. In the same breath that she just told Oprah the conversations of his skin color and all that she was just saying there, she was saying that he will not be given a title. He was denied a title. Let's take a listen.
Months when I was pregnant, all around this same time. So we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
So you heard it there. In the same sentence, she is saying conversations about his skin color, he will not be given a title.
We need to talk about why Archie wasn't given a title. Despite being 7th in line for the throne, Archie wasn't born Prince Archie, and that's because of the letters patent issued by King George V in 1917. It decreed that only children and male line grandchildren of the reigning monarch, plus the eldest son of the Prince Wales, typically the heir apparent, would be called princes and princesses. However, Queen Elizabeth II did issue a slight update to this proclamation in 2012 that expanded the last part of George V's decree to include all children of the Prince of Wales' oldest son, meaning Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis, they can be called princes and princesses. Once Prince Charles takes the throne, however, Archie and his little sister would be granted the title of prince and princess, since they'll be male line grandchildren of the sovereign.
Hey, look at that. It was set up in 1917 and had nothing to do with skin color whatsoever, despite what Meghan went on Oprah and claimed. And to further complicate things, they seem to have forgotten that they rejected titles for their children. It was not long after they were born when Harry reportedly said they were fine with him being title-free and that his children should be raised without titles. Ooh, I wonder if he checked with Meghan before saying that. So the next issue that I want to bring up is the therapy debate. Harry has talked about receiving it, but then that it wasn't something available. That even when Meghan was going through her darkest times, according to them, and having those dark thoughts, it was not available to her. And yet, in the book Spare, he talks about after his physical fight with William, the first person he called was his therapist. So it was available to him, but not to her. But take a listen to him even contradicting himself on whether or not therapy was something that he sought.
Therapy that's a long time. I wasn't in an environment where it was encouraged to talk about it either. That was sort of like squashed. Back. And when you start thinking like that, it can be really damaging. And you always said to me, you said, you've got to sit down and think about those memories. Funny enough, from the support around and my brother and other people saying, look, you need to deal with this.
So when talking to Oprah, he's saying he was not encouraged to seek therapy. But then in other interviews, you could clearly see that he was saying his family encouraged him to explore therapy and to get help. But then again in Spare, he goes into that Meghan was not encouraged the same. And for some reason, even though he admits to seeing a therapist, he couldn't figure out how to arrange the same thing for his wife. Okay, the next discrepancy, lie, I'd like to discuss is the claim that they got married 3 days before their actual wedding, the televised wedding. Remember, she made this claim on Oprah that the Archbishop of Canterbury married them 3 days before.
Got married. No one knows that, but we called the Archbishop and we just said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us. So like the vows that we have framed in our room are just the two of us in our backyard with the Archbishop of Canterbury, and that was the piece that... Just the three of us.
Meghan and Harry's secret wedding that took place 3 days before the real one apparently didn't happen. At an attempt in proving that Meghan doesn't care about the spotlight and lavish aspects of being a royal, she told Oprah that the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, had pronounced them man and wife before they exchanged vows in front of millions at their televised royal wedding. She said, 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that. We called the Archbishop and we said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us. Turns out that a lot of holes appeared in the secret wedding claim. Mark Edwards, who is a vicar at the church, said that a source at Lambeth Palace denies the secret wedding. The source told him, Justin had a private conversation with the couple in the garden about the wedding, but I can assure you no wedding took place until the televised national event. He also added that he was told by a Lambeth Palace staff member that Justin does not do private weddings, and concluded as, Meghan is an American, she does not understand. I highly doubt that a vicar would come out to the public and say all of this if it wasn't true. He didn't even remain anonymous. Others have also pointed out that at least 2 witnesses are required for the ceremony to be deemed valid and legal. Meghan stated that it was only her, Harry, and the Archbishop who were present.
So many lies, so little time. Let's jump into a speed round. I've compiled some of my favorite just quick contradicting themselves and lies and nonsense that they're spewing. Get ready for this.
I really wanted to relearn French. I had studied it for the 4 years in high school, and then it just went away. I studied French for 8 years, and now it's deplorable. I can't remember anything, which...
You can't ever wear the same color as Her Majesty if there's a group event. But then you also shouldn't be wearing the same color as one of the other more senior members of the family. So I was like, well, what's a color that they'll probably never wear? Camel, beige, white. So I wore a lot of muted tones.
In here, there's a piece of, did you see it? The piece of blue fabric that's stitched inside. No. It's my something blue. It's fabric from my... I hope it's still in there. Yes, we'll have to look at that. It's fabric from the dress that I wore on our first date.
Oh, that's about the most romantic thing.
She was wearing a black sweater, jeans, heels. I knew nothing about clothes.
Changed her last name back to Markle in, I think she was in her early 50s at that time, only when I started dating Harry. So I think that says enough.
Document proof of when she changed her name.
Markle's always been my name.
Samantha said, I was a Markle before she was, so I thought that was kind of weird that she would say, I only changed my name back when she met Harry. Markle has always been my name. She then provided an official document stating a petition for a name change, which was dated in December 1997. Her college diploma also shows her name as Samantha M. Markle.
She's an actress. Oh. She's American. Oh. On a show called Suits. Their mouths fell open. They turned to each other. Then Willie turned to me and said, fuck off. What? No way. Sorry? Impossible. I was baffled, until Willie and Kate explained that they were regular, nay, religious viewers of Suits. Great, I thought, laughing. I'd been worrying about the wrong thing. All this time I'd thought Willie and Kate might not welcome Meghan to the family, but now I had to worry about them hounding her for an autograph.
Interesting. William and Catherine were huge fans of Suits, according to Harry. You can hear me almost laughing when I say that. Thankfully, a lot of my wonderful listeners in the UK told me that's not possible. It wasn't shown until much later over there. But what's one more lie when you told 1,000, right? And if you want to put it into further context, if Catherine was such a huge fan of Suits, then why wouldn't she be willing to hug Meghan the first time she met her? Weird. It's almost like nothing Harry and Meghan say makes sense. Guys, I haven't even scratched the surface of the lies. So I love this. I definitely want to keep going with it. Let me know in the comment your favorite lie, whether it's from this video or one that you'd like to see. God, you guys, it's just unbelievable. So many things easily proven wrong or that they just contradict themselves on. Oh, so much. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that signed up for Patreon. If you haven't, definitely check that out. I want to thank my executive producers. A huge thank you to Kristen, to Linda, Melissa, to Paige, Teresa, to Mary, to Amy, to Mr. K, to Kay, Shauna, Brenda, Aaron and Frank, Kristen, Ann M, Amanda, Ann H, Karen, Corey, to Kay King, to Glynis, Sugar Hiccup, Karen, and Dewey. Thank you so much for being here and supporting and being my executive producers. I appreciate you all so much. And everybody that's joined Patreon, thank you so much for all the support. All of that is going right back into the coronation coverage. I'm so excited to go to the coronation and to yell, "We want privacy," if we see these two there. But guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as always. And I can't wait to bring you the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.